Hello, everybody, and happy Thursday. Yes, I'm doing a mini webinar on Thursday instead of Sunday. Things are just changing with my schedule. So I'm happy to be here with all of you here today. And the topic is a really good one. It's all about sleep anxiety. So, are you scared to sleep and could be from sleep anxiety? And it's so interesting because I feel like I've only heard of this term within the last couple of years, sleep anxiety. We actually, in the medical community, yes, I'm a medical sleep doctor, but just note, little my disclaimer is the information here is education alone. I can't provide medical care over the internet in terms of on YouTube or wherever you're seeing me. Yes, so this is education alone. Sleep anxiety is not a medical term. We actually have it separated into two. There's an anxiety condition, anxiety disorder. Sometimes it's defined as general anxiety disorders or panic disorders, or even agoraphobia or different phobias about specific things, social anxiety. Sometimes people can have separation anxiety. Typically, this happens more in kids. But if you have anxiety about sleep and it's actually keeping you from falling asleep or staying asleep at least 3 nights out of the week, we actually call that insomnia. And so I don't know who actually coined the term sleep anxiety. Maybe it's just, sort of common vernacular, just the words that we use because it's more of a buzzword than actually saying insomnia, which is more of a medical condition. We are here today to talk about sleep anxiety. So just clarifying, it's not really a medical condition, but if you're anxious about sleep, I guess that's what we consider sleep anxiety. And I'll talk about just an article from Very Well Mind, and then something that I found on Google Scholar, which is really the more academic literature where I find articles, and I'll link them in the bottom below. So, sleep anxiety, what is it? Anxiety in general is really fears, persistent worries that are sort of out of proportion to the threat. And the thing about sleep, and it's so interesting, I think a lot of people that I see, because I do medical sleep, so I see a lot of people with insomnia, really they put a lot of pressure on themselves to sleep. Sleep is natural process, certainly it's not easy for everyone to sleep, and that's why there's a whole field of medicine that specializes in sleep. But I think putting it out there, it is a natural process that sometimes we just sort of get off kilter, or sort of like a skill that needs to be relearned. And anxiety, right? A lot of folks do have a lot of anxieties about different things, but at the same thing, there are ways to treat that, especially when it comes down to your sleep. And so, people who have insomnia, so that's the medical sleep condition, about a third of them do have an underlying anxiety condition. And sometimes when I work with my patients who have insomnia and they have difficulty time sleeping, and we do some of the treatments like cognitive behavioral therapy, if their anxiety is not addressed, it can be difficult to improve their sleep quality as well. So poor sleep can lead to insomnia, but also if you're not sleeping well, it can lead to anxiety, which is super interesting. They have done fMRI studies, so brain scans, where they looked at different areas of the brain. And when you don't get enough sleep, so sleep loss actually leads to more activity in a part of your brain called the limbic system, which is like their emotional system, and also can lead to changes in your prefrontal lobe, which is so interesting that there's brain changes from not getting enough sleep that's associated with anxiety. When you take a look at the treatment for this, right? Well, what do we even do about it? Medication certainly can help, right? Treat underlying conditions, lifestyle changes, exercise is huge. If you exercise, I think it just really helps calm you down. Cognitive behavioral therapy, those are specific tools to help improve somebody's sleep. Another thing that some of the researchers found is that people with anxiety have less slow wave sleep or less deep sleep. And so, if you want to learn about the different sleep stages, I have a video about that. That's really good because I think when you understand what sleep is technically sleep happens when your brain waves slow down. That's how we measure it from a polysomnogram in the lab, also known specifically your EEG pattern. When your brain waves slow down, that leads to sleep. Slow wave sleep or deep sleep is when their brain waves really, really slow down. And someone who's anxious, someone who has more of a hyper aroused state, guess what? The brain waves are going a little bit faster. And so, could we aim to improve slow wave sleep or deep sleep as a treatment for sleep related anxiety? Potentially, right? What are things that can do that? Well, exercise, certain medications potentially can do that as well. And things like meditation, mindfulness, even things in your diet. I probably, if you've heard me in some of my videos before, talk about how diet can impact your sleep. Avoid processed foods, avoid things with high sugar, because that can actually lead to more arousals. So things that are more conducive for deep sleep from a dietary standpoint are things more with high fiber, and then less saturated fats. So natural fats from plants are certainly a lot better for you. Yeah, so that's what, sleep anxiety is. It's really not a medical term, but it's sort of thrown around in, online, in the media, where you have specific worries in and around sleep. Is it a problem? Well, yeah, it certainly can be a problem, especially if it causes daytime symptoms where you just can't sleep and you're so tired. You have problems with your memory, focus, and attention. You have a lot of stress that keeps you from falling asleep. Sometimes you tend to look at your clock often. If these symptoms have been going on at least 3 days a week for more than 3 months, we would consider that probably something like chronic insomnia. And that certainly needs to be addressed. So, how do you address it again? Well, address the thoughts you have in around sleep and then address any underlying anxiety concerns as well. Hope you found this video helpful. If you'd like to learn more about women's sleep health topics, subscribe, and I hope to see you soon on the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.